don't hit the iceberg.
Is there anyone there?
Yes, what do you see?
Iceberg, right ahead!
Thank you.
It's always so difficult to get a call from a prospective client that is in the midst of a crisis. And those crises don't just happen overnight, they actually form over time. And so this video is going to talk about how we can identify how those icebergs form and how to steer clear of them in our communications. This graphic shows the formation of a communications iceberg. At the bottom, you will see underlying tensions. What does that mean? We live in polarized times. Politics has gotten toxic. On the left and on the right, people are forming into tribes, and those tribes are largely driven by anger. That anger is driven by economic anxiety. People are hurting. They can't put gas in their tanks and food on their tables. They're worried about what the future looks like for their kids. So that's the foundation. Now we get to the next layer of organized opposition. This is when a local group picks up on that underlying anger and directs it towards something specific, something like a data center or a proposed tax increase, and begins to harness that anger to build a coalition to come after their local government. This then leads to rising negativity. If an organized opposition is effective, it will begin to seep into the broader community, and people's perspectives around the work that you do begins to change, and people see you in a more negative light. People want to trust and believe in their local government, but in the face of organized opposition, this can change, and the community sentiment can turn negative. This next phase is where we begin to get into the danger zone.
Why ain't they turning? Is it hard over?
It is, yes sir, hard over.
This is where we see tensions rising. People are now coming to meetings. You are seeing a lot more activity on social media specific to that issue, and that means that you are in trouble. However, you can still circumvent the crisis. You can still avoid the iceberg, but it's getting late in the day. And of course, finally, the public outrage, the last phase. This is when it's too late to turn back, you're gonna hit, and now you have to repair the hole in the ship before it goes down. So now that you understand the layers, how can we fix it? First, it's really important to acknowledge and understand that underlying tension. Be aware that people are suffering. Speak to it in the content that you make, where you can share how you are creating free public events that help families do something that doesn't cost a fortune. Now, when we see organized opposition forming, this is a critical phase where we have to flood the zone with real legitimate information. Dispel the rumors, combat the misinformation, tamp down the fire before it begins to rage out of control. So when you see opposition forming, really critical to get on your game and begin to tell your story before their story becomes the story. By addressing these first two things, you can avoid the iceberg altogether. But even if you get to the rising tensions phase, it is not too late. During rising tensions, the facts become malleable. And now it's about humanizing and mitigating the emotional response that people have had to the organized opposition, to the tensions that underlie that. And so having a strategy at each of these phases in how you address communications is critical. I'm always here to help. So wherever you are in the journey, whatever is happening underneath the waters, let's have a conversation about how we can transform your social media so that you can adapt and avoid any nasty icebergs.